Hello, my beautiful friends, beautiful souls. Thank you for tuning into yet another episode of the Reclamation. I am Paula Collins, your intuitive sound healer, Reiki master, and spirituality guide. And today we are stepping into a conversation that is both intimate and expansive. And it's what it means to own the fullness of who you are. Think about that for a minute. What would it mean or look like for you to own the fullness of who you are? I'm not talking about some half version of yourself, not a watered down version of who you've been taught to be to fit in, but the unapologetic, radiant, embodied you. Take a really deep breath with me right now. Inhale very deeply, as if this is the most delicious, incredible inhale you have taken all day. And then exhale slowly through your mouth. Feel it in your body. Feel into the truth that you are more than enough, exactly as you are. Because this is such a sacred conversation. This is so important to me. This is something that, you know how people say, I will die on this hill? That's how important this conversation is. And it's so sacred that I'm actually going to weave in a short ritual, an invocation, and affirmations. So you just don't hear these words, you end up embodying them in your bones. So let's start from the beginning here. So often as women, we shrink ourselves to be more digestible, more palatable, and more acceptable. We dim our own light because somewhere along the way we learned that being too much meant we would not be loved. How's that hitting? Did something come up? Did something start ringing in your memory? Maybe you were told you were too much, you were too loud, too opinionated, too something or other. So many of us have been in this place. We have been in a place where we were told to back down and to shrink. But let me tell you something. Here is a what if I want you to ponder. Maybe you continue to ponder it after this podcast, but what if the opposite was true? What if the opposite of everything you've been told and everything that you learned was actually the truth? What if the fullness of your being is the exact medicine this world is craving? But more than that, what if the fullness of your being is the exact medicine you are craving? How does that hit for you? Because there are so many times when we can't figure out how to move past, how to get over the next hump, how to take our healing, our transformation, transmuting these ideas to the next step. And sometimes it all comes down to stepping into our fullness. And also let me say that stepping into sacred power is not about domination or force. It isn't. That is different. Stepping into our sacred power is about remembering. And I talk about remembering all the time because it is the truth. Remembering that you are divine in human form, remembering that your softness is power, remembering that your intuition is power, remembering that your voice your body, your story, and your presence is holy. Because so much of our healing and the transmutation of all of this is in the remembering. And all of the things that we have been told that makes us weak or makes us sound nonsensical is the opposite. Think about that for a moment. Maybe even taking a deep breath and hold that breath at the top. And exhale and listen to these words, remembering that you are divine in human form, that your softness is power, that your intuition is power, that your voice, your body, your story, your presence is holy. Breathe into that. Allow that to become a much bigger part of who you are. Telling yourself this day after day after day is so important. So let's pause for a moment together and step into the truth with a simple ritual that you can do at any time. If you're able right now, find a quiet space. You may not be able to light a candle right now, but I have one lit and I always have one lit. And if it is safe for you to do so, place your hands on your beautiful heart center and breathe deeply with me. In through the nose and out audibly through the mouth. And if it's safe for you, maybe gently close down your eyes and listen to this invocation. I awaken to the fullness of who I am. I honor my sacredness, my softness, my strength. I am her, unapologetic, radiant, and divine. Now take another deep breath in through your nose, exhaling audibly through your mouth, and feel those words land in your body. This could be an invocation that you put on a note or write it on your mirror and say it to yourself while you're looking yourself in your eyes every morning. You might even have a shawl or a scarf or something that makes you feel radiant and drape it around your shoulders or drape it over your head and shoulders. Stand tall, open your arms wide as if you are embracing the vastness of who you are. And then whisper to yourself, I claim my space. I belong. I am her. And claim that, my friends. Claim it. Because when we start claiming these truths, it makes a difference. It changes how we see ourselves, how we show up for ourselves, how we show up for everybody else. I am living proof that it is the truth. As a reformed and recovering, I shouldn't say recovering, because the people pleaser in me isn't as strong as she used to be. But I've been where you are, and I'm claiming her. Unapologetic, radiant, and divine. I am claiming that part of me. Because when you reclaim, when you embody your sacred self, the way you live shifts. You stop leading from fear or comparison, and instead you lead from love, from trust, and inner knowing. Divine embodiment changes how you show up in relationships, how you show up in your work, and in your calling, your purpose, your why. You no longer perform or pretend. You live and lead as your authentic self. And this is what magnetizes others to you. This is what heals communities. When we step into this for one another, when we step into this as a way of saying, this is who I am, and I'm not backing down. I will never forget the moment I realized that I am her. It was a big moment for me. Actually, I've had two. The first one happened at the beginning of my healing journey. When I was working with my own life coach, and she was helping me to see the parts of me where I stayed and remained small, where I put everybody else before me and didn't take time for me, where I was in such deep and automatic people pleasing that I didn't know how to get out of it. And I remember sitting in this beautiful meditation, this guided meditation, this beautiful drum journey that she was taking me on. And all of a sudden, I started laughing in the middle of it. And she just kept going. And the more she drummed and the more I was on this journey, the more I'm laughing, which is normally the opposite of what happens when you are deep in healing. And I realized that I am and always have been her. I just had so much crap on top of it. And this journey was helping me to rise up and to push away and transmute all of the old stories and the lies and the conditioning. And that was huge for me, because I came out of that journey and I was really shaky. I am not going to lie to you at all. I was shaky. It took me quite a while to get past that. She came over and she put a bunch of crystals around me. She was laying grounding crystals on my body everywhere because I was having a hard time coming back. I wanted to stay where I was at in this realization that I am her. But she helped me to come back into presence, into the moment, carrying this new ideology of who I am with me. And it was in that moment I knew I am no longer chasing who I'm meant to be. I'm not chasing it because I am already her. She has always lived inside of me. She just had to get through a few things, and she had to be uncovered a little bit more. And she had to see how different her life could be if she claimed it. And this is what lives inside of you. I will tell you about my other moment because that just happened yesterday. So a friend of mine had this amazing 5-day challenge. And my friend teaches Tantra and Tantric healing. And I was one of the lucky winners, and I received this incredible session with her for 75 minutes yesterday. Like yesterday. So today's the 24th. So Tuesday, September 23rd, I sat through this because I had some things that came up. I had heaviness and congestion in my heart and in my throat that came up. And I sat with that with her. And she sat and she witnessed me. There's nothing better than having somebody witness you where you're at and understanding that you're so much more. And as I was going through everything that she told me, I started laughing again. And as I'm laughing, she starts to giggle too, because that's part of who she is with tantric healing. She laughs because it is such a beautiful, sensual feeling to realize that you are her, that I am her. And I started saying things like, I am divine and I am majestic. And when I said the word majestic, I had this deep, deep, deep remembering inside of me. And I started laughing even more. And I started movement in my chair as I felt this aliveness well up inside of me as she was leading me through this tantric healing. And it was incredible. And she helped me to reframe things that came up within me and that do come up within me, because as soon as we are on the precipice of something big, we have all kinds of stuff that comes up. Even if we think we've already healed it, there's a layer there somewhere that opens back up, another petal of the rose opens up, and it shows up. And she said, don't think of that as a negative. That rising up in you does not need to be erased or released. What you need to do is realize that this part of you, this part of your shadow, can walk alongside of you and can be your ally. And I was thinking, how on earth does imposter syndrome and not enoughness become my ally? Those things are not good. Those things vibrate very lowly. And then she said, because it helps you transmute the feeling. Bam, boom. Now, somewhere deep inside of me, I knew that. But when she said it to me, it hit differently. And doesn't that happen to us at times? Somebody will say something that we know. Let's face it, we know. Our inner wisdom, our higher self knows. But they say it in such a way that everything changes. And all of a sudden, we have this huge aha moment. And for me, I start laughing. And I realized that it was all part of the plan. In fact, I'm going to look in my book over here. I want to see if there's anything else that was important. Oh, in order for this reframing to happen and that I work together with this part of me, that the imposter self and the priestess self work together, walking together in tandem, helps me to move forward, and that the understanding this shadow aspect becomes the gold in our lives. It becomes literal gold in our lives. And we realize that our body has always held these codes. And when we realize this, we are reclaiming and calling back our power to us in ways that we didn't even realize. How is this sitting for you? How is this feeling? Where is it landing? Are you starting to realize that you are already her? Are you starting to realize that you don't have to chase who you're meant to be, that you're already her, and that she has already lived inside of you? I really hope and pray that this is something that is lighting up inside of you. I have I wrote down 4 affirmations to help anchor the shift in. So if you can put your hands over your heart center, take in a deep breath, and as you exhale, allow your eyes to gently close down and repeat these after me. I no longer shrink, I expand. I no longer apologize, I embody. I no longer seek outside myself, I remember. I am her, I have always been her. Say that one again. I am her, I have always been her. And then take a deep breath into those affirmations. Feel yourself embodying those. And as you exhale, gently open up your eyes. Once this episode is over, I invite you to take out a journal. And I want you to write at the top of the page, who is she that I am becoming? And capitalize she. Who is she that I am becoming? Write it at the top of the page and just start allowing your soul to speak to you. Let the words flow. Do not overthink it. Just let your soul reveal the version of you that is already waiting to be embodied. Because when we do this, we uncover more about ourselves. We remember more about ourselves, and it becomes more exciting. And maybe you'll even start laughing too. Hold on to that thought. And what I would love more than anything is if you are brave and courageous enough to share, who is she that I am becoming? Share it in the comments or DM me on Facebook or Instagram and tell me, who is she that I am becoming? I want to celebrate this with you. It is that important. It is that important. So today, I invite you to whisper to yourself as many times as you need, I am her, I am whole, I am sacred, I am enough. So that when you begin to embody this truth, everything changes. Your choices, your relationships, your leadership, your energy. Because the world right now that we live in doesn't need a small, watered down version of you. This world needs the full, unapologetic, radiant you. That's what it's craving. Because if we all tap into this full, unapologetic, radiant part of who we are, that light shines and it expands and it keeps expanding and expanding. Have you ever seen the meme where it's dark and you have the one match that's kind of like a person that lights itself, and then that flame lights the people on either side and it keeps going and growing? That's what happens when you step into her. Because, my beloved friends, you are the flame. You are the temple. You are her. The woman you've always longed for is already within you. Already within you. Can you hear that? Do you hear that? You are the temple. You are the flame. You are her. You have always been the woman that you have longed for. She is inside and she is waiting to bloom, to blossom, to expand. So take this remembrance into your day, into your work, into your relationships. And when you need a reminder, come back to this ritual, this invocation, and this truth. And here's another one for you to carry forward. The flame within me never goes out. I carry her with me always. The flame within me never goes out. I carry her with me always. I really want to thank you for joining me in this sacred space today. If this episode spoke to your heart, please share it with a sister, a friend who may need the reminder of her own fullness. Like this episode, download this episode, comment on this episode, share this episode. Until next time, beloved, shine, rise, but most of all, remember that you are her.